How's it, Rob? Today we're going to be talking about one of the world's favorite players, Cristiano Ronaldo. And I want to talk about his career and where he's played. But before we get into that, we're going to talk some Ronaldo trivia. Did Ronaldo play more seasons at Manchester United or Real Madrid?
Surely it's Real Madrid. I'm sure he played more seasons at Real Madrid.
I'm annoyed that you are so confident in that answer. He played 9 seasons at Real Madrid. So he definitely played more at Real Madrid, but I'm annoyed you didn't even think about that one. So clearly I've been too easy with you this week. Anyway, moving from that, my question is, will Ronaldo be remembered as more of a Premier League or La Liga legend?
He's going to be a global legend. Realistically, let's be honest. It doesn't matter because he played in multiple leagues, so at least he's got that going for him in terms of the the face off with Lionel Messi. So he'll be remembered more, in all honesty, as a global star than anything. But if you had to go between Premier League and La Liga, it's got to be La Liga. He spent more of his time there. That's where he fought for more of his Balon d'Ors. That's where he really became this goal scoring legend that we all think of with Cristiano Ronaldo. So I think it's got to be La Liga.
But I disagree with you a little bit because I think he hasn't retired yet, but he's sort of playing out of Europe now and almost certainly finish his career in Saudi Arabia. When people think back to his career, the most debatably, not the most memorable goals, but some of the most memorable moments, I would say, of his career are remembered as Manchester United. And I'd argue because of the extra pull that the Premier League has as a league compared to La Liga, it's kind of just carries more weight, the Premier League, in that conversation than La Liga. When you think of players like Ronaldo and even to a degree Bale, you think of Bale at Tottenham versus Bale at Real Madrid, it's kind of a similar discussion.
Yeah, I mean, Bale, I feel like is a harsh one. Bale was never really accepted by the Real Madrid fans, and nowhere near to the level that Cristiano Ronaldo was. So I think to compare him to Bale is going to get a lot of Madristas pretty annoyed at you. So fair play for risking your neck for it, Josh. Um, but I think in terms of it, the only thing really, like, I agree with you. I think the difference is that at Man United in the Premier League, he was a winger and he was a tricky winger and he was skillful and he was light and he was awesome to watch. Whereas when he went to the Liga, because he was brought up playing, or I wouldn't say brought up, but like his first real taste of superstardom was in the Premier League, where he just got smoked. Like, people didn't care about the ball. John Terry would go through him. It was just players would go through him. They didn't care about the ball. They stopped caring about the ball within the first 5 minutes because they couldn't touch it. So sod it, will just go through the player, and you can't get away with that in the Liga. And I know people talk about the Premier League going soft now, but even now, it's still harder in terms of the kind of naughty challenges that that you put in, and the physicality that you get away with in the Premier League. There's a lot more shoulder to shoulder, and a bit more like shirt tugging going on in the Premier League that doesn't happen in La Liga. So I think the only argument I could kind of see for him being more of a Premier League legend is that that's where he learned to have the kind of balance and strength on the ball that allowed him to become such a prolific goal scorer in La Liga. But moving beyond that, I think it's all well and good talking about the La Liga is worse globally than the Premier League. But where he really thrived was the Champions League. The Champions League was his competition, and the Champions League was his competition at Real Madrid, and Real Madrid is the Liga side. So I think if you're gonna go anywhere, it has to be towards La Liga, really.
How Ronaldo developed in the Premier League versus the Liga. Do you think the fact that he went to Manchester United for a few years and got to play in that physical Premier League for a few years made him the player he became at Real Madrid? My point being, if he had just gone from, say, Portugal, Sporting Lisbon, straight to Real Madrid and trained there for a few seasons and then start playing at Real Madrid, he would have still came out as the same player. Because my point is, I think that physical element that you talked about, getting battered for years against John Terry's and all sorts of defenders like that, kind of created the player we see now in Cristiano Ronaldo, or the player we saw in his prime at Real Madrid more.
I kind of agree with you. I think you could definitely say that the player he became, he wouldn't have become the same Ronaldo without without Manchester United, sorry. But I think the big thing that I think about with it is that like he was always a player who was going to be special. That's why he went to Man United. You know, you don't go to Sir Alex Ferguson's prime Man United unless you're a special player. And we probably wouldn't have got the same Ronaldo. I don't know if we would have got the prolific scorer who could jump 6 feet in the air and batter defenders around. But would we still have gotten a world class Ronaldo? 100%. I think if he'd gone straight from Porto to Madrid, we might have seen more of a winger Ronaldo. You know, we might have been ended up in a situation where there was a bit more of a dogfight around Messi and Ronaldo being both the best dribblers in the world. Whereas you kind of look back at it, it was like they're both prolific goal scorers because they played so differently. So I think the legend that Ronaldo, you know what I'd say? I'd say the legend of Ronaldo really got its wings and in the Premier League. It started to grow its wings in the Premier League, but he only flew when he was at Madrid.
Yeah, overall, unfortunately I do agree with you that Ronaldo is more of a La Liga legend than a Premier League one. I tried very hard to sway you on that. Anyway, if you guys have some other arguments as to why Ronaldo might be remembered as more of a Premier League legend or why he is remembered as more of a Premier League legend in your opinion, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Or if you have any other Football Unspoken takes, we'd love to hear from you. Till next time, this has been Football Unspoken. Cheers.